Hi everyone, I'm Grace from Gardening for Joy, and this is actually the fourth in a series of videos that I'm doing on summer flower pressing. Today I'm going to focus on flowers that tend to be a little bit more delicate when you try to press them, and I'll share with you the techniques that I use for flowers that are a little bit more delicate. So some of the flowers that we'll talk about are here in this vase. We have phlox, two different colors of phlox. We have geraniums, can be super, super delicate. And then we have coreopsis, which is really this yellow flower. So here's the geranium. I also have a flower in here called spiderwort, which is really a pretty flower, right? But the minute you clip it, right, it kind of folds right up like within a half an hour or so. So you have to press them, you have to clip them, press them almost immediately. So I'll talk about them a little bit, but there's not too much I can demo because they've closed up on me. Okay, well, there it is. So let's talk about phlox. Such a pretty flower. And it's actually, it's a flower that's made up of a bunch of little flowers. And so the process that I always follow with phlox, where I guess I could press the whole stem, is I don't. Instead, I press each individual flower, and it's pretty easy because all I do is I snip each flower off from its stem. And what I like about phlox is they make such pretty accent flowers when you're doing pressed flower art. So if you need a flower to fill in, which, a lot of times you do, these little phlox are just beautiful. Now, the other thing that I like to save, look at all those buds. So when I cut this, there was still a lot of buds on this particular phlox. And I actually love to save the buds too, because they're so delicate, they're so pretty, and they can be used in a number of different flower arts, particularly, again, really for accent pieces. So I will cut off all those little buds, right? Well, cut off as many as I can. Put that back in there. And then I'm just going to arrange them, right? Super simple to arrange, always putting them upside down. And just move that out of the way, right? I'm just putting them upside down. They're so, so pretty. And then all these little buds, yeah, I just put them around. And you'd really be surprised the different uses that you can find for these little buds. So you don't have to waste anything. And so then I have this purple variety too, which is really pretty. And so I'll just continue with that, right? I'm going to clip off all the individual flowers. And the interesting thing that I find with the phlox is I'm never sure what color is going to result after it's pressed, because sometimes after pressing, when you take all the moisture out of the flower, the color changes. It's kind of interesting, right? But I love, love, love phlox. I love them too. Like I said, they are like such a perfect accent flower. I can't even begin to tell you how great they are. Once again, this one that I has a bunch of different buds. Well, has a few buds. So I will try to get the buds that I can off of this, because it's always nice to have a few different colors, right? Okay, and I think I got them. So again, I will just arrange each one of these individual phlox flowers upside down. They press, so while they're delicate, they generally press pretty nice. The thing you just have to remember, especially if you're doing a microwave, so pressing them in a traditional facet is a little bit gentler on them. So that's it for the phlox, right? Again, a delicate flower. You have to be especially careful with them when you press them in the microwave, and check them after a week when you're pressing them just in a traditional press. So the next flower that I'm going to talk about is geranium, which is, I think, even more delicate than the phlox. These flowers are, they're just so thin and they become very delicate. So pressing in the microwave is really hard. We'll see how they come out. Probably a little bit gentler pressing them in a traditional press. Again, with geraniums, they have a bunch of individual flowers, so I just tend to cut the individual flowers off. And this geranium has some really pretty buds on it. So once again, I'm going to use those buds that I can, right? Some of them I really can't use yet. I may leave them in water to see if they develop a little further. And then I have another salmon colored geranium here, and we'll go ahead and just snip off each one of those individual flowers. So pretty. And then I have kind of two that are just starting to open and one bud. Again, great little accent flowers. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and snip those off. And those are perfect to use. So what you want to make sure is you want your flowers the petals to lay as flat as possible. So spend a little time arranging them, right, to get them nice and flat. Press down on the leaves. Make sure none of the leaves are kind of curling under each other. Or in the case of this one, it's kind of like turning back onto itself. So just, spend a little time with the leaves. Be gentle because they are super delicate. The red geranium leaves are so beautiful if you can get them pressed right. I mean, really stunning. And we'll take that last one. I mean, super stunning. You know what? Let's see, can we fit anything else on here? Well, let's go ahead. We'll do the Coreopsis. So this is Coreopsis threadleaf. That's the variety. Love yellow flowers, right? Love the yellow in them. These I do both ways. Sometimes I leave the stem on and press them, and sometimes I clip them off. Today, I'm going to go ahead and clip them off. These are in the delicate category because that's what they are. They're also very delicate, especially if you use the microwave flower press. You have to do them very slowly, right? Because what I find happens is the petals are so thin that they become opaque when they're put in the microwave flower press. Again, probably the flowers that are a little bit more delicate might be better off just pressing them more the traditional way. So in this case, I'm just going to cut off the stems of each one of these flowers simply because it'll fit nicely on here. Again, lay it down, snip it off. So very pretty. And what you want to make sure is that your petals all are laying really flat. I used to forget to check that when I first started pressing flowers. And so a lot of times I ended up with flowers that, the petals were kind of tucked under each other. So I tend to pay a little bit more attention to that now. And let's see, I've got one more. I'm sure we can find a little spot for this. Oh, this one I cut with a lot of leaves on it. And I do like that sometime. But for purposes of today, I'm just going to take the flower. But you can, the leaves on the Coreopsis are also really very pretty and add a nice accent to flower arranging. So there we have it. We'll cover that with, again, you want those down. You want that nice and pressed. I'm going to put 2 pieces of this paper on there. And then a piece of cardboard. The last flower I'll just talk about are these ones that I mentioned in the beginning, the spiderwort. You can see they just close up, right? They open up in the morning, they close up after that, and right when I cut them, they just closed up, and you can see they have almost like a dye in them. Really, really pretty. There might be one that I can show you in the flower arrangement that I'm going to show you. But spiderwort, super delicate. The leaves are super, super soft and super thin, and so you have to dry them slowly and carefully. So that's spiderwort. Let me just dry my hands off here, and I just wanted to, I'll share with you just one of my pieces of pressed flower art. Yeah, maybe it will come down here. I know it's a little bit, but down here you can see this is a geranium, you know, really, really pretty. Here's a coreopsis there. These are the spiderworts, these little plants here. So pretty. You know, if you can press them, they come out really, really super, super pretty. So in my next video, I'll talk a little bit about the different leaves, right, and why they're important, and the nice accent that they add to any of the flower arranging that you're going to do. So that's it for this series. Thank you for joining. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below the video. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Again, thanks again. Bye.